So, today I'm going to continue the next unit or subunit, we can say, modes of reproduction used by single organism. See, we can say how many types of the reproduction are used by a single organism. See, these are some of the activities placed in NCERT textbook. In this, dissolve about 10 gram of sugar in 100 ml of water. It is one of the activity. We need to take 100 ml of water. In that, we need to dissolve 10 gram of sugar. Take 20 ml of this solution in a test tube and add a pinch of yeast granules to it. Here, mainly we are cultivating the yeast. Okay, and this solution is what the nutrient medium for this developing yeast. Put a cotton plug on the mouth of the test tube and keep it in a warm place. See, all these things we need to add in a test tube, and we need to put on the test tube a cotton swab. After 1 or 2 hours, put a small drop of yeast culture from the test tube on a slide and cover it with the cover slip. See, we need to observe it under the microscope. That's why we are putting 1 drop of that prepared solution in a on a clean glass slide, and we need to cover it with the help of cover slip. Okay, wet the slides. After that, we are going to observe the yeast development by the see, yeast is only one and only fungi in which it is unicellular organism, but it is reproducing by the budding process. The small birds are going to develop on the sides on the head, and that bird is going to cut afterwards, and it is going to grow in a new individual. See, second activity we have, wet a slice of bread and keep it in a cool, moist and dark place. See, we need to take 1 slice of bread and we need to keep it in a cool place. That too, it is moist, and we need to keep it under dark place. Observe the surface of the slice with a magnifying glass. Afterwards, we are observing it with the help of magnifying glass. Record your observation for a week. See, we need to continue it until we are going to have some of the result. Okay, next, compare the contrast ways in which yeast grows in the first case and how mold grow in the second. See, both the activities are responsible for the generation or synthesis of fungi over there. Having discussed the context in which reproductive procedures work, let us now examine how different organisms actually reproduce. The modes of which by which various organisms reproduce depends on the body design of the organism. As per this, they are telling that the reproductive processes are vary in each and organism, each and every species we can say. They are completely different from one to another, and it is completely depend on the design of the organism. See, first in the reproduction process, we need to learn what is fusion and what is fission. See, first we need to learn about the fission. Fission is nothing but the division or splitting. Division or splitting of an organism. See, for unicellular organisms, cell division or fission. See, as I said, either division or splitting or fission leads to the creation of new individuals. Many different patterns of fissions have been observed. See, respective individuals are going to produce in a different way, means different fissions they are going to takes place. Many bacteria and protozoa simply split into two equal halves during cell division. Means most of the protozoans as well as the bacteria are going to split into two. That is nothing but the binary fission. Okay, next cell division in organisms such as amoeba, the splitting of the two cells during division can take place in any plane. See, as we know, amoeba is a shapeless organism. In this, the binary fission can take place either horizontally, vertically, diagonally. In any of the aspect, it is going to divide. It can divide. Okay, due to its shape. Next, we have activity. Observe a permanent slide of amoeba under the microscope. Similarly, observe another permanent slide of amoeba showing binary fission. Now compare the observation of both the slides. See, in this activity we need to place two different slides. One is simple amoeba and in second slide we need to place binary fission. During the binary fission which slide is prepared, that slide we need to observe. Why we need to observe that? At the time we are going to understand that in amoeba any plane could be responsible for the division or for the fission. However, some unicellular organisms show somewhat more organization of their bodies, such as is seen in Leishmania, which causes Kala Azar. It is one of the organism. It is going to cause this disease, Kala Azar, which have a whip-like structure at one end of the cell. In such organisms, binary fission occurs in a definite orientation in relation to. See, we can say Leishmania is like this, and division, binary fission is going to take place like this from down to upward section. See, firstly, the two flagellas are going to form after the body is going to divide in two parts. See, uh, binary fission occurs in a definite orientation in relation to, say, in relation to this structure, other single celled organisms such as the malarial parasite Plasmodium vivax divide into many daughter cells simultaneously by multiple fission. Yeast, on the other hand, can put out small buds that separate and grow further, as we saw in activity 7.1. See, this is what the Plasmodium vivax, it is undergoing multiple fission, as we have learned in amoeba and leishmania, but here it is happening multiple fission. Okay, that's why in the rainy season we are going to observe many of the mosquitoes are coming. They are getting favorable climate, they are getting favorable temperature, they are getting favorable humidity, they are getting favorable moisture. That's why their spores, we can say, these parasites are going to develop very properly. Okay, see, so we have next fragmentation. It is one of the activity. Collect water from a lake or pond that appears dark green and contains filamentous structure. See, whenever stagnant water is there or stopped water is there, in that dark colored filaments are going to form. Put one or two filaments on a slide. That filament we need to put on the our glass slide and put a drop of glycerin on these filaments and cover it with the cover slip. See, if we are putting glycerin means it is going to be a permanent slide. If we are putting water or any other solution, it won't be the permanent slide. slide. It is going to be a temporary slide. Now put a drop of, see, I have already said this one. Observe the slide under a microscope. Can you identify different tissue in the Spirogyra filaments? See, after the observation, we can come to know. In multicellular organisms with relatively simple body organization, simple reproductive methods can still work. See, definitely, multicellular organisms means they can be in a small size or they can be in a large size. One of the example we can assume Spirogyra, for example, simply breaks up into smaller pieces upon maturation. See, when Spirogyra reach its maturation state, it is going to split into a fragments or into a small pieces. These pieces or fragments grow into a new individual. See, if I'm going to divide, if I make them in a pieces, that every piece is going to convert into an individual. Can we work out the reason for this based on what we saw in activities 1.4? As I have said you, we can do this. This is not true for all multicellular organisms. See, it is not true for the all multicellular organism. They cannot simply divide cell by cell. The reason is that many multicellular organisms, as we have seen, are not simply random collection of cells. See, in some species, specialized cells are present. In some species, different type of cells or tissues or organs are present. Specialized cells are organized as tissues, and tissues are organized into organs, which then have to be placed at definite positions in the body. In such a careful organized situation, cell by cell division would be impractical. Multicellular organisms therefore need to use more complex ways to reproduction. See, when we are discussing about the multicellular organisms, they have different cellular organization. See, different cells are organized into a different tissues, and different tissues are organized into a organs. So it will be a little bit complex way, and they need to search for different methods. A basic strategies used in multicellular organisms is that different cell types perform different specialized functions. Following this general pattern, reproduction in such organism is also the function of a specific cell type. How is reproduction to be achieved from a single cell type? If the organism itself consists of many cell types, the answer is that there must be a single cell type in the organism that is capable of growing, proliferating, or dividing, and making other cell types under the right circumstances. Okay, viewers, Allah Hafiz. I'm going to terminate this live streaming here only. Allah Hafiz, दुआ में याद रखना. See you tomorrow.